Wha-bam! You alright? You alright, geezers and geezettes? How you doing? Welcome, everyone, to the third and final stream of today from us. Hello. Hi. Thanks for joining. Thanks you lot for coming along and playing. I really massively appreciate it. I'm DM Dan. Hello.
Hello, DM Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Again.
Hi. So, yes, hot off the heels of some super normaling, we're going to the absolute opposite end of the spectrum, to the most super individual known to man, history, the cosmos, the one and only Jason Statham.
Oh, I thought this was going to be Nicolas Cage. Oh, sorry.
We've reached beyond the constellation that is Nicolas Cage, and we find ourselves firmly within the Statham nebula. But to join us on this wonderful vacation for the world's most prolific action film hero, just kind of going around the houses, we have Nate. Hello, welcome back. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Wonderful.
I'm ready.
Wonderful. You're never ready for the Statham. So we've decided off camera, but Nate, you are playing the private security today.
I am.
His
His name is Duncan.
Duncan, the private security. Thank you very much, Duncan. Going round. Next up, we have Tim. Hello, Tim. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. You are providing some hard and fast lore today.
I will. I personally know a lot of lore, so this will be very accurate.
A lot of the lore.
With Bingley Whittleton.
Bingley.
LLB.
That is definitely a lore.
DSP. RRB. CRNK.
CIA, FBI.
So next up, we have a brand new face. Hello, Lane. Hi.
What's up?
How you doing?
Not bad. I've been excited about this for quite a while.
So you should be, because there will be all of your life experiences up until this point will pale in comparison to the antics of Statham on vacation. And you've decided to jump in with both feet as Jason's agent.
Exactly. I am Karen Shopper.
Amazing. Hello, Karen. And last but not least, hello, Meg. Welcome back to the stream.
Hello.
You're going to be our designated tour guide.
I am, and you can call me Jenny, and I am looking forward to giving Jason the best time of his life.
You see, the thing is with Jason, that is the only acceptable answer. Everything has to be the best thing in his life. As you may well have guessed from what we've been saying, Jason Statham is going on a big vacation, and it is up to the four of you to ensure that Mr. Statham enjoys his holiday. Unfortunately, the biggest hurdle to Jason enjoying his holiday is a mixture of Jason and his unpredictableness, and also his arch nemesis, Wesley Snipes, also known as the Wesley Sniper. Now, because of the code of conduct within the Film Actors Guild, Wesley Snipes isn't allowed to directly attack Jason or any of his staff. So you five are fine. Unfortunately, with his singular his singular sniper rifle bullet, Wesley Snipes can shoot anything and is doing his best to try and ruin Jason's holiday with every kind of scene. I mean, that's pretty much it. That every time we do something where a roll is needed, you're going to need to roll a d6 and a d12. The d12 is the one that you're mainly looking at, and you have a number of skills, each assigned to your roles, your jobs, and you're looking to roll equal to or under your relevant stat. So, for example, Tim M. Law, if you were trying to roll a spin doctor. Trying to use your spin doctor, you'd have to roll 7 or less. Nice and easy. If the d6, the Statham die, if the d6 ever equals the d12 roll, Jason Statham does something unpredictable. Okay. We also have a number of donations for the audience to kind of participate in. We've chucked what those things do down in the chat, but to give a quick rundown, £5 will let us re-roll the next failure. £10 re-rolls the next success. £15, Jason Statham immediately does something unpredictable. £20, we heal Jason Statham's tracks by 1. That will come up in a bit. And for £40, Wesley Snipes reloads.
Oh no!
Thanks,
And
Carl.
I believe that we already have a £15 donation to start off with. So from the get-go, tell you what, I'll let you settle in, and then normally it would be immediate, but I'm just going to hit you all with a surprise, unpredictable Statham very early on in the game.
Fantastic.
Sounds amazing. In true Statham ways. So, are you all ready to go? Are you
Yeah.
good?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Let us jump straight in. Bam! With a smash cut as Jason boots open the door to the reception room that you're all patiently waiting for him in. And he swaggers in, runs his hand over his shaved head, and he right, gang. So basically, the last team, I had to fire them all. It was a good holiday, but it weren't the best. But I've got good feelings about you lot. So last year, I went down to Margate, and it was all right. It was quite fun. The one thing I did notice as I was fighting Steve McFadden, Phil Mitchell, and Peggy Mitchell down in this brand new gala bingo hall that was set up in the old Sea Life Centre, was just like something I was missing in my life. And I sat down and I watched 3 weeks of EastEnders omnibuses back to back. Boom, classic TV. So what it made me realise watching all them omnibuses is that like every time the EastEnders lot go on holiday, they all go to one place, and that's the place that I want to go to this year. All right, this year we're all going to Southend in Essex. Right, we're going down to the seafront. Yeah, Peter Pan's playground. Yes, that's what I need in my life. So you're going to make that happen, and I'm going to have an amazing time. Capiche?
Of course, sir.
Of course, I'll start making some calls now.
Amazing.
Oh God.
So, moments later, we smash cut to Jason Statham, bam, kicking the door out from the inside of his Porsche, as he strides out onto the seafront, the Southend seafront. And as he kind of stands there, he places his hands on his hips and gets a real big huff of that seafront air, that musty Essex seafront air. And as you kind of all pile out of the little sedan that you've had to kind of roll in, he kind of looks left and right and, right, what is it that we can do here? You know what? The first thing that I want to do here in Southend, Essex, is a 10. We're going to re-roll that because that's what happened last year. We're going to re-roll that. We're re-rolling the 2 because that happened last year. We got an 18. You know what? One of the things that I've heard about Southend, Essex is that they've got the best sweetie shops in all of the southeast coast. So I want to go to a sweetie shop. All right, that's what I want to do. And he sort of like looks to you and just kind of starts like striding over to the nearest American candy store that's been set up on the seafront. But unbeknownst to you, and I'm not going to tell you what this is, but
is it called Jason Statham's Big Confections?
It is now. In fact, yes, Jason is drawn to this giant neon front of shop sign of his own face.
Can I try and sprint in there ahead of him, and using my eye for detail, make sure that it's all like really nicely set up, that everything is pristinely positioned, nothing's out of place.
Oh, sure. I will absolutely join you.
I'm gonna barge past you as well, and I'm just gonna make sure that no one's actually in the shop and just sort of usher them out. Just kind of go, come on now, come on, out of the way, come on. Big man's coming through.
Okay, so we've got tidying up, helping tidying up, ushering people out of the shop. Tell you what, let's start with there are lots of people in the way first. So let's start with Nate, private security. I'm going to argue that if you're the first, as Jason's kind of striding down, oh yeah, just like stepping on all the chips that have been dropped on the floor. I'm going to ask you for an extraction roll as you try to extract all of the public from the Jason Statham's big confection.
So that's a D6 and a D12.
So you roll a D6 and a D12. We're keeping an eye on the D12, but the D6 might cause Jason to go off kilter. Okay.
Oh.
So you needed a 6 or less on the D12. So as you step in and sort of like what do you look like, mate? What does Duncan look like? He's a
big man, but he's a round man. That's what I'm sort of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't actually have much, just round. I kind of like to think that because he's so proud of being like Jason Statham's like private security,
Sure.
he's actually just like, make way, Jason Statham, from the movies, get out the way, he needs his film. And because everyone's now so excited that Jason Statham's actually coming into the shop, they're making it even harder for him to get them out.
100%. Yeah, you just hear, oh my god, Jason Statham, oh he's my sweetheart, he is. Oh. And like, Duncan, as you feel this situation kind of slipping out away from you, Bingley and Karen, you both enter into the big confection shop. Who's gonna go first, and how are you planning on getting, like, because you're tidying up, right? But like, how are you addressing the situation?
Do we have some cash that I can just thrust at the shopkeeper?
Tim, Bingley does have a pocket full of Statham bucks, which are like crisp, green, like American dollar style notes, but with Jason's face on them instead of like, I don't know, George Washington or whatever. You've printed a bunch of these off in preparation for the holiday. So yeah, you can use them as a tool. How are you trying to? How are you kind of? What skill are you using to bribe?
I'll bung him some and just be like, "Listen, sir, the life's about to become rather complicated for you, but don't you worry, we'll look after it. We can cover the legal expenses. Give me a moment. Let me just tidy up some things around here, and we'll have it looking spick and span. And Mr. Statham will, I'm sure, have a wonderful time. Think how famous you'll be. Ooh."
You should give the shopkeeper some of the money, and then Jason will think that the shopkeeper's paying him to be here.
That's a good idea. Yes. And he loves his own face. Right.
That sounds quite spin doctor.
Yes, sir. If you can maybe pay him slip him a couple of these in his change, and
okay.
Well, like I say, take care of you.
So Bingley, if I could get you to roll me.
Oh no!
Someone has purchased a reroll, so that
Thanks, God.
Thank you, generous benefactor. So that is the next failure is going to get re-rolled. Hey! Bear in mind that unexpected Statham moment is still looming over you. So
can't wait.
So Bingley, it sounds like you're trying to construct a narrative here. So I'm going to ask you for a spin doctor roll.
Okey-doke.
So D6 and D12, you want to roll 7 or less on the D12 and hope to God that you don't roll equals on the 2 dice. Okay.
I have not rolled under my beautiful 7.
But he does have a reroll.
Oh, I have a reroll.
You have a reroll. Yes, correct. Yeah,
just a D12 or both?
Both.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
Yay.
So you approach the counter, you explain this story, and then you just pull out this wad of Statham bucks. And as you hand them over to the shopkeeper, he sort of like looks through me, kind of flicks through me, sniffs them a little bit. The shopkeeper has seen this happen in the movies, so he like bites on some of the notes to see if they're real, and like they are. And he just oh, thanks, boss, and he kind of pockets the money. And as this happens, you look out and Jason's just kind of coming around the corner. He's about to go in. So the shopkeeper's been bought off. Karen, you're just like there's still all these people just kind of bumbling around. What is it you're doing to remedy the situation for their safety more than anything?
First thing, we're going to be filming here, people. If you like to leave the store, there will be a raffle afterwards, and the prize will be an extra on Mr. Statham's next movie.
Yeah. Okay. The crowd seem intrigued. Are you adding to it, or did you want to apply one of your skills to that? Like,
no,
are you setting
panicking
off the waterworks?
She's panicking. And you will also be paid for your time, and
Okay, you know
there might
what?
be a meet and greet afterwards.
I'm thinking that your struggles to publicly speak to a crowd of people is potentially what led you down the road to becoming a failed actress. So if I could have a failed actress role, please. You need a 6 or less on the D12. Oh, nailed it. Okay, so your genuine tears and kind of sobbing and stuttering as you start to have a bit of a breakdown in front of all these Essexians. They kind of look to you, and there's this one guy that comes over to you and goes, "Oh, don't worry, babe," and he just kind of wipes the tear from your cheek, and we'll all be extras on Jason Statham's next film. Yeah, that sounds banging, actually. And they all, like the crowd as a homogenous mass, just
Yes, you best all be moving before we sue you for emotional distress.
Okay, so as this happens, Jenny, Meg,
Jenny, call me Jenny.
Jenny. So you're stood at the front, and you can see Jason arrive, and like he looks to you and like, yeah, and then he stops, and he's got his hands on his hips, right, and he's got his feet placed apart in a perfect power stance, learned directly from the set of Expendables. He got this from Sly himself, and he looks up, and you see him like running his tongue behind his bottom lip.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I don't know. That neon sign on my face up there. The eyes are too big. Nah, we gotta burn it all, he says. And like from his trousers, he just pulls out a sledgehammer. And he charges past you and just takes a swing at the first like display stand, and like this, he smacks it, and this like whole shelf display of those little lavender sweets, the little, they just go scattering, and like not all the people have left yet, so like bedlam ensues. At this moment, as you hear the screams of the public, not really knowing what's happening, because there's a sudden Statham, an unexpected Statham with a sledgehammer has just turned up. You kind of, as you try to figure out what to do, tour guide, you see a red dot in amongst the crowd.
Oh no!
And at this moment, you notice that there is I don't know. So she's like, oh, a woman in probably like early to mid 50s. To describe her generously, you would use the word frumpy. And this, you see this red dot kind of hover near her head, and then it moves to a shelf nearby. It moves to the ice cream cone in her hand, and with a single bang, a bullet flies from the end of Southend Pier, which I think you find is the longest pleasure pier in the world, and strikes this woman's ice cream and splatters it across a nearby wall. The shock of it, kind of makes her throw the rest of the cone away. And as she turns, you hear this little child go, "Oh, Aunt Mavis!" And as Aunt Mavis turns, she looks and locks eyes with Jason. And she stops. And like you feel the world stop, and she, "My beautiful baby," she says, as she immediately falls in love with Jason Statham's ruggedly good looks.
Oh no.
So the threat of this encounter is a loose aunt.
Okay. So first off, if anyone is gonna fall in love with Jason Statham today, it's going to be Jenny. Jenny has been waiting her whole life for this moment. She's so excited that she gets to guide around the famous Jason Statham. So she sees Aunt Mavis, and she's like, "Oh hell no, this is not happening." She's got a binder. You know, most tour guides go with like the standard clipboard. Oh no, not Jenny. Jenny has a binder. Currently, this binder is full of like sweet shop facts and pier facts and all the facts of Southend-on-Sea that you could possibly gather in the half an hour that it took for them to decide that they were going to this shithole of a place. Anyway, she's ready. So she takes up her binder, and in her youth, Jenny used to be a rugby player, you see, and she just goes in for the full tackle, and she just whomps Aunt Mavis out the way so that she is standing directly front of the beautiful, the wonderful, the glorious Jason Statham.
That's amazing. So this sounds inherently like an extreme sport.
It is indeed.
Like auntie tackling. So I'm going to need you to roll a 5 or less, and I will take this opportunity to also inform you, Jenny, that we've had a £10 donation. So if you succeed on this roll, you must re-roll it.
Oh no!
Thank you, generous donator.
God damn it. Okay, what am I rolling again? Sorry.
So a D12 and a D6. You need a 5 or less for extreme sports on the D12. If you
10.
roll equal, it's a 10. Okay.
Oh, it's a D6 2 and a D12 8.
Sure. So, you go to you see what's about to happen, and you charge through you push the crowds out the way, and just like you were taught at school, you turn your torso, you drop down, you know you're going to get your head right up there in nature's niche, really take her legs out from under her, and as you charge, your foot lands on a bag of Haribo, and you slip, and there is a good 3 seconds where you are nothing of you is touching the ground. You go soaring through the air, like an enthusiastic and jubilant missile. You crash. You crash into the shelvings alongside Aunt Mavis, and just kind of ricochet off. And as you kind of sprawl out onto the floor, you look up just in time to see Aunt Mavis launch herself at Jason, and with vice-like hand, she grabs the sides of his head and lands the biggest, sloppiest snoot job. It's like watching a xenomorph implant someone, and Jason, oh no, I'm married. Oh, Rosie, no. Oh. And Jason staggers backwards. Normally he, he's him and Rosie are going through a bit of a tough patch, you know. I mean, she is definitely like a supermodel, and he's basically a superhuman. But he's trying to be better at this moment in time. So actually, because of this, because Aunt Mavis has made it to him, I'm going to roll a d3, which is a 2, and he gains 2 boxes on his sad track. As Jason becomes more sad that Aunt Mavis has just has potentially caused another argument between him and Rosie Huntington Wilson, whatever surname is. Yes, Jason. Oh no, not again! Like flicks the Aunt Mavis's saliva onto the floor, and then he just like he's angry. He's overwhelmed with everything that's happening. He's going to start like he pushes Aunt Mavis away. And this is only kind of spurred on his indignant rage. So he starts sort of like with all of his smash cut experience, he just like bang, just like flat foot kicking things over. He looks at the shopkeeper behind the till, and the shopkeeper's like, "Oh, Mr. Statham," and like starts waving a Statham bill, and Statham just, "You stole my cash," he says, and runs across the store and just like flying elbow drops this storekeeper. And as he kind of rises up, he's behind the glass counter and he and flips the counter, and like Southend rock sticks just go flying off in all directions.
Can I try and quickly draw something up to make it look as though by accepting our money, the shopkeeper has also contracted on as a stunt performer?
100%. Yes. I mean, that sounds legitimate. So that sounds like law.
Wonderful. All right.
So you need a 9 or less on your D12.
I did not do it. Oh no.
Oh,
I recognize
no.
that DM grin. Oh no.
Okay. So also, you've rolled a 12, which means on a 12, it goes very badly. So as you do this, as you like draw out your notepad and you start furiously writing like new laws into effect, you feel a little tap on your shoulder, and in a bright yellow high vis is and one of those pointed caps. You see 2 PCSOs. Like
Hello,
the
can I help you?
police support officers, and one of them looks at you and, hello. Do you appear to be writing new law into legislation without running it through the House of Commons?
I just for a bit of fun, you know, just doing a fun little bit of laws like you do.
I don't know. I think that sounds like something very illegal, my good sir. So I'm going to keep my eye on you. I'm going to add 1 spot to the arrested, because you are fundamentally responsible for this lad here who's currently causing a bit of a ruckus, and you are 1 step closer to getting him arrested, good sir.
Oh no.
Have a good day. And the 2 PCSOs just leave.
I was considering slipping them a couple of Statham bucks, but I think I've done enough damage already.
So, whilst Bingley, the lawyer, is being reprimanded by the PCSOs, who else is doing what? Like, what are you doing to try and curb Jason's indignation? Because Aunt Mavis is still on the rampage.
I might see if I can get another swirly ice cream and then just ninja whip it at her to cool her down.
Okay.
Choose that one. Death Wraith the ice cream.
Yeah.
Very limited edition.
Okay, so
I've grabbed a cornetto from the icebox.
Okay.
Unwrapped it.
Okay. In which case, so whilst you're doing that, just to double check, Jenny, what is it you're doing?
Oh, yes. Since I'm on the floor, in amongst all the sweets, I'm gonna try and calm Jason down with some of my best sweetie facts, my best local knowledge to try and soothe his mind with some good old fashioned, fun facts about the place he's in. I'm gonna do what a tour guide does best, and I'm gonna hit him some of my best ones. And I got some good ones. I got some actual good ones here. Like, so from the front, I'm gonna be like, Mr. Statham, did you know that jelly babies were first launched by British sweet makers Bassett's as peace babies in 1918 to commemorate the end of the First World War? Isn't that fascinating, Mr. Statham?
Okay, so Jenny, you approach Statham and you start reeling off sweetie facts. While this is happening, Duncan, you've arrived at the ice cream drawer, the ones with the slidey tops.
Yeah.
And you've just kind of dived in and you've pulled out like 2 cornettos, like the nutty one and the strawberry one. And you're looking through.
One of them's got to be a mint one.
What mint? Okay,
Yeah.
Mint and strawberry. And you're just like, which one is the best weapon? As you look backwards and forwards. And whilst you're thinking this, Jenny, if I could, so using your local knowledge, if I can get you to roll a d6 and d12, you need a 7 or less on the d12. As you attempt to calm down Jason with your knowledge on peace babies. You roll a 12.
I'm the worst tour guide ever.
So you stand there and you say this to him while holding up like a bag of Bassett's jelly babies, and he stops his rampage and you are
Jelly babies, Mr. Statham. They were created to commemorate the end of the First World War. Isn't that fun?
He looks to you, and I'm just going to double check this. We're gonna be, yeah. He looks to you and, but jelly babies contain gelatin. And as he says that, I've taken a sacred oath never to eat gelatin ever again. Not since that one time in Cancun. And with that, he grabs the bag of jelly babies and throws them, and they bounce off your face. You lose a point of stability and put it into adrenaline because the jelly babies to the face pump you up. So going forward, all of your d12s now add +1 to them. And he just jelly babies. And as he spits on the floor, like Aunt Mavis is back up, and she just kind of looks over, and it's the proper like heart-shaped eyes like bouncing out of her face as she starts like charging back towards Jason.
I'm gonna step between. Okay.
Yeah.
I am his agent. You have to go through me first if you want to talk to Mr. Statham.
Yeah. So are you using one of your skills or just trying to body this woman?
I'm just trying to body this woman.
Okie dokie. So that is so if you're not using one of your specific skills, it's a d12 d6, and you need to roll a 4 or less. Oh!
Hey!
Okay, so as as Aunt Mavis starts charging towards you, Karen, you step out in the way and you fists on hips. No.
No.
Thank you, voice in my ear. That our next success needs to be re-rolled.
Here we go.
Karen, you're gonna have to re-roll that.
What?
No one can deny the power of Karen. Okay. So, you stop and like Aunt Mavis senses kindred spirits between the two of you, and she kind of like screeches to a halt. And as she stands there and kind of looks to you, and it's like, when like two wolves are like facing off in the wilderness to assert dominance of the pack, and as you're staring at this point, there's a And across the room, a cornetto flies across from the ice cream counter. So Duncan, I'm going to argue that your projectile cornetto is going to use these weapons are also weapons. So please roll me a d6 and d12. You need an 8 or less.
I mean, to be fair, you don't want that point going in your eye. That could, at least give you a day's worth of blindness.
It's a nice little
Okie
7.
dokie. A 7. So, as Mavis like squares up with you, Karen, you hear a and like this cornetto slams Mavis in the side of the head. She tilts as the ice cream splashes over her face into her mouth and triggers her lactose intolerance. She just starts like farting uncontrollably, like rolling around like a balloon that's just been let go by a wayward child. And she eventually kind of like covers her mouth. She's holding her gut. And she looks up to Jason and, right, my beauty, she says as she goes kind of trolloping out the store.
I like just as before we ate up Mavis, she was already eating an ice cream.
She knew the consequences.
Yes, but that was a soy ice cream from
okay,
the
fair enough,
from the van down the road.
And as you look and kind of think to yourselves, oh, that's thank God that we've dealt with the threat. So this is Aunt Mavis. At this point, you turn to see Jason Statham, and somehow he's gotten changed from like the suit, the tailored suit that he was wearing, and he's now wearing a I went to Southend and all I got was this stupid t-shirt. They can't fit the final T on. And he's in like sparkly cowboy hot pants. And he's just on the counter that he's tipped over, dual gunning fire extinguishers, and he's just using all of the knowledge that he gained from the sets of the Expendables, just dousing everyone, everyone and everything in foam. And at that point, he turns to you and, that was banging. Let's go, he says, and he kind of vaults past you and kind of sprints out of the confectionery shop. And as you kind of make your way out, the sign of it, the neon sign of his face on the front, like bonk, falls off and kind of smashes onto the ground. Cool. So next up, a few moments later, Jason turns to you in his cowboy hot pants and his Southend t-shirt, and I was really fun. On to the next thing, he says, and he rolls a. You know what? All of that activity made me really hungry, and you know what solves hunger? A restaurant. But I'm Jason Statham. It's not just any restaurant. It's got to be a fancy restaurant, he says, and he sort of like looks up and down the seafront, and he kind of looks at the speed ramps that they've put on the seafront to stop boy racers kind of driving up and down, and he tuts, like, he mourns for their loss. But then he carries on, and he sees, oh yeah, that's it. He kind of strides up onto the high street. Yeah, that's it. What I want to do is go to a sushi bar, he says. A live sushi bar. And as he strides in with you in tow, unbeknownst to you, Wesley Sniper reloads. Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay, cool. So you how does this happen with a bullet? Oh my god. Got it. I know how this happens. So Jason strides in, and he strides in with his swagger, and he just like plonks himself on a seat right in the middle of this really fancy sushi bar. It's only recently opened because I don't think Essex knows what sushi is. But like the chefs turn to look, and they're like, "Oh my god, is that Jason Statham? Oh, good god! Oh, quick, get the good stuff, get the sashimi." I know. And you see kind of everyone busying around. The front of house approaches, and Greetings, Mr. Statham. Thank you for visiting our illustrious abode. We decided with the name of the venue, we'd really kind of hammer home what it is that we provide for our customers. So that's why this venue is called Raw Fish. Please take a seat, and we will delight all of your taste buds with the most exquisite raw fish. As this, our we've imported. Oh my god! We've brought across one of the finest raw fish chefs, all the way from mainland Japan. He's a master of 60 years at the sushi arts, and we will unleash him just for you. He's our most valuable asset. You will experience euphoria. And as this all happens, you watch as a red dot appears on the stick holding up the trap door to the basement, and you can hear people like shouting down to the sushi chef, who's for some reason in the a £40 donation has rolled in.
Oh no!
Ooh.
2 bullets.
So
Oh no.
So, a silent bullet fires in through the window, silent enough that it passes through the glass and just leaves a perfectly cut hole, and strikes the leg holding up the trap door, which then slams shut, locking this venerable sushi chef down in the basement. Except no one was looking at the time, so no one really saw it happen. But also, 14. You have to re-roll that. It was loose arm. A 20. Just gonna quickly Google what that means.
Oh god.
Oh no!
No.
Oh no! I know what that.
Okay, so at this point, you see the front of houses turn to look at each other, and they're like, "Oh, where is our vaunted chef? What? Like he was just here a moment ago. Where is he?" And like one of the chefs, who clearly is more of a Dwayne the Rock Johnson fan, turns to look to Statham, and the chef disappeared when he turned up. He's kidnapped him. He's kidnapped our veteran sushi chef, and we're gonna set this right, says the sous chef as he pulls out a load of fish filleting knives. Meanwhile, Jason's oblivious to everything that's happening. You've just seen this chef just kind of go hostile, but Jason looks down to his phone, and it's a message from Rosie. I love her. She's my wife. Have I told you? She's a supermodel. Yeah, bang it. What's it? She's accusing me of bigamy. What's bigamy mean, everyone? And he looks to you specifically, Bingley, the lawyer. Can you run by me what bigamy means?
Yes, of course. So bigamy means that your me or yourself is really big. It means she thinks you're really impressive and strong.
Right.
And she just wants everyone to know about it.
At this point, all of your Twitter feeds start popping off, and pictures of Jason Statham mid-smooch with Aunt Mavis start flooding all of your social medias, and his wife, what is this? What is that? Rosie Huntington Whitley, Rosie Huntington Whiteley, almost. Rosie Huntington Whiteley is currently going on the offensive because she is under the assumption that Jason Statham has gotten married to someone else whilst on his holiday to Southend, and she believes that he is now also wedded to Aunt Mavis.
Can I?
And he looks down and oh no, he says,
all right,
not again.
Can I? I'm going to use my spin doctor skill. I'm going to repost the image saying, amazing new shots from Jason Statham's big new film with love interest.
Okay, so are you posting this to the internet?
Yeah, I'm putting it all over the socials.
Okay, so that's a spin doctor. Please roll me a d6 and d12. While this is happening, bear in mind there is a sushi chef bearing down on Jason Statham with 2 filleting knives.
I think I've noticed that, but Bigley's like, this is way beyond my skill set.
Okay, yeah. Please roll me out. A 2 and a
2 and a
5. Okay, so you start kind of tweeting off, and you using the right hashtags. You managed to kind of disseminate this message back out into the internet that actually we're just filming a new film, and that starts to kind of quell some of the hubbub. But I mean, you know, people miss stuff on Twitter. It can get a bit confusing, right? But also you haven't dealt with Facebook. Like, Facebook is a whole different beast. Because if nothing else, all the people on Facebook are probably the Aunt Mavises that think they've also got a chance. But to be fair, it is also backed up by all of the residents of Essex that happens to be in Jason Statham's big confection, are also tweeting that they're going to get extra parts in his next big film. So they're kind of demanding to know. They're weighing your inbox down. They're blowing up your DMs, trying to find out where they have to apply to audition for, like where they have to go, how much are they going to get paid, what's our contract for, and you're just and like your phone explodes under
Karen,
all of the messages.
Can we somehow get a film started? Is he busy at the moment?
Well, Karen, did you want to start filming right now?
I will look at my exploded phone. Does anyone have a phone that we can?
You notice that everyone's phone in the room has just automatic smoke has escaped because Jason Statham is blowing up so hard, he's literally blowing up people's phones.
Oh, this is just like in Homefront.
How about we make the film about Southend itself, about the nitty gritty working class Essexian people of Southend Essex going about their days, and then Jason Statham is the pinnacle of action. He goes, no more oppressing the working classes, no more anti-boy racist speed bumps on the seafront. He's gonna come in and he's gonna shake things up, and he's gonna kiss the Aunt Mavises, and he's gonna knock down the neon signs, and it's just perfect because it's pretty much what he's doing anyway.
All right. Well, yes, and we'll film it on a phone, so it has like a gritty sort of lo-fi kind of thing.
As you're discussing this, you turn to notice that Jason Statham is now on the sushi belt, going around the restaurant in a kimono, dueling two-handed with this sushi chef. And he's they're just kind of going around. He's like, "Oh, this is great," he says as he yeah. I mean, how are you planning on rolling this out, Jenny? Or Karen, for that matter?
I'm going to say to the sort of front of houses, I'm going to say, and this is part of the film, you see, like the chef isn't actually kidnapped. Oh no, he's in on it. He's hiding and pretending to be kidnapped, and Jason Statham's going to find him and save him. You see, save the day.
Sure. Okay. That sounds great. Is that what is that?
I think that's like maybe a follow me, because I'm like, yeah, follow what I'm saying, you know, follow my lead here, or like it's convincing thing.
I'll allow it. Right, roll me a d6 and d12. We need to 6 or less on the d12. And you have 1. Yes.
Okay, so d12 is 6 and the d6 is 4. So d12 is 7.
Okay, so you start like explaining this massive plan, and you're just like, yeah, trying to encourage everyone to kind of step to the side so they can carry on with the filming. And the front of staff, like the waiting staff, and like the other chefs are just like the chefs mainly are stood there going, oh, but we can't leave. Like, do you know how little time it takes to cook sushi? Like, we can't. Like, we don't want it to burn or anything. Like, we can't.
Isn't it raw?
Yeah, so it doesn't take very long to cook at all. So we've got to be watching it all the time in case it burns. So that's just how it works. Like that's just common sense, obviously. I mean, I know that there haven't been any raw fish restaurants opened up in Essex in forever, but that's unfortunately just like ancient techniques. As this is happening, you hear it, ow, from the belt, and Jason Statham has just been filleted slightly. So I'm going to roll a d3. That is a 2. So he's just gained 2 squares on the dead track.
Oh no.
Duncan, anything you can do about this fellow?
Yeah, Duncan sees all this happening, and he sees the damage that Jason has just taken, but also he actually believes that that's what's happening, that they are actually doing a film. And obviously his biggest dream is to act alongside Jason Statham. So I'm guessing this is a sushi restaurant and they're going to probably take the Japanese theme a little bit too much. And he's going to pull some nunchucks that he's found off the wall and join Jason on the belt to fight the sushi chef.
We had a £15 donation before the 40. So actually, I think we did the 40 ahead of time. So there's an unpredictable Jason. Okay. Cool.
No.
Thing
Right.
is, I can imagine if it's Essex, the sushi itself is actually just little cocktail sausages, like tied with strawberry laces to like little parcels of rice, just going around on the conveyor belt.
But the fancy part of it is that they're not just fish fingers; they're M&S fish fingers.
Nice.
Okay, so I mean, you're absolutely right. Yeah, on the conveyor belt, like. I mean, it's a completely unique idea, but all the plates are different colors. So, like the blue ones are the cheapest, and it goes up to like the pink ones, which are most expensive, right? And as you, the security, as you jump up onto the conveyor belt, and then you stand there stoically in place as you all and you're just waiting to catch up with Jason. Okay. At this point, Jason's like, "Ow! You just got blood on my. Oh, I went to Southend Seafront and all I got was this t-shirt shirt." And he goes, "Oh, that's not kosher, mate." And he looks up and then reaches into his sparkly cowboy hot pants, pulls out a gun and bang, just shoots this sushi sous chef who just bang, just shoots him and goes, "Yeah, it's weird." And another £40. So as Jason like shoots the chef and goes, "Oh, was that a real bullet?" Wesley also,
No, he's just acting, Jason, dear.
Why are these bastards being so generous?
I've just rolled a 20, which we already did because that was the bigamy, which is still ongoing because Facebook. But separately, he stands there and goes, "Oh no, I just killed a man. Oh, I'm really sad now." So actually, what I'm gonna do, because he's quite sad, he's a friendly chap. So that adds 3 to his sad track. 1, 2, 3. Not arrested though. This is Essex. But I did roll a 2 on the because Wesley Snipes is reloaded. So yeah, Jason stands there and goes, "Oh, I'm really sad. I think I need a little pick me up." And this time he reaches into the front of his sparkly cowboy pants and he produces a Ziploc bag. And agent, you immediately recognize this as Jason Statham's private, premium quality big bag of cocaine. And he opens it slightly and just to get the edge off. And then you will watch as this red laser dot lands on the side of the big bag of cocaine, and with another silenced bullet, which creates a perfectly round hole in the front, a second perfectly round hole in the window at front. It hits the bag of cocaine, which then explodes violently, showering the whole room in Jason Statham's premium personal cocaine.
Quickly.
There was a moment of silence.
Breathe in, Mr. Statham.
I'm going to say, because you're in an enclosed space, so all of you are going to add 1 adrenaline. As you unexpectedly, oh no!
Can I roll my narcotics because I'm just so used to it?
Yes, you can avoid this if you
built up a
successfully
cocaine
pass.
tolerance.
If you can successfully pass on narcotics, I'll let you ignore that. So yeah, D6 and D12.
Yes.
Okay, you are inured to this. This is, for everyone else, this is just inhaling a load of unexpected cocaine. But for you, it is Tuesday. So,
Darling, I'm Jason Statham's agent. You're going to need more than this to get me high.
so, like the front, like the camera pans out to the front of raw fish, and there's just this white that kind of billows out and kind of coats the high street in front of the restaurant. You hear coughing, you hear spluttering, and then from the cocaine smog strides Jason Statham, and he's dressed in his suit again. And he looks up and down the high street, straightens his tie, and that was good. Let's go. I've eaten. On to the next, he says. And as the 4 of you kind of come staggering out, thankfully the cocaine cloud has obscured the fact that he's just shot a man. So Jason then looks to you, and the last thing he wants to do on his adventure is, like, he turns to you and his eyes are intent, like they look at you, they drill into you with this intensity, and he looks to you and says, I've just huffed 3 kilos of cocaine, and the last thing the only thing that I want to do right now is cuddle some owls. And from his pocket, he produces a brochure for a nearby owl sanctuary. I'm gonna sort things out with Rosie, and that involves taking her back some fucking owls. All right. And
yes, that sounds like a capital idea. Yes.
And he looks and he sees a taxi kind of rolling past, and he kind of, as the taxi passes, he grabs the driver's door, rips the door off, grabs the driver, pulls the driver out. Get in, we're going to pet some owls, he says, as he jumps in, and like he starts revving the engine, and then the boot opens up as in you get, he says, as the 4 of you pile into the boot of this stolen taxi.
On the drive there,
Yes.
Jenny, who has never taken cocaine in her life and has now been blasted with it, she sat there with her binder, who's vibrating, and her eyes are twitching, and just from the back you can hear her muttering owl facts. A group of owls is called Parliament. Owls have claws called talons who help them catch food. Owls can turn their heads as far as 270 degrees.
Oh, darling, we're going to have to get your tolerance up. We're going to have to get your tolerance up. After this...
What's happened to me, Karen? What's happening to me? I can see the time continuum.
Yes, you can smell colours. Those will stop.
Did you say that owls are a parliament?
Purple smells so bad.
A parliament is good. Could I be prime minister, do you think? I should go for it. Yes.
Yes,
Duncan,
yes.
how are you doing?
Yes, Bingley, you
Crammed
played
in
your
the boot
best
with the other people?
owl prime minister.
Yes.
Duncan is just pretty silent, but he's still clutched hold of those nunchucks. He's still got
White
them.
knuckles.
He's ready to use them. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds amazing. Okay, so the 5 of you roll up to this Southend on Sea. So just in from Southend Seafront, or Westcliff. Westcliff on Sea has just recently opened an owl sanctuary, and Jason Statham somehow managed to get the travel brochure for Westcliff on Sea owl sanctuary. As he somehow, despite the fact he's already ripped off the driver door of this taxi, so instead he smash cuts, bang, kicks off the front passenger door, and climbs out through the other side of the car. No, actually, he just kicks out the windscreen and climbs out the front of the car.
Mr. Statham, you need to open the boot.
He stops and he appreciates that, and he stares at the tree that he just totaled fucked the taxi into. And he, oh yeah, well, bam, and he flat foot kicks the boot, and the car just peels apart like a banana, just depositing the four of you on the ground.
That's going to need the mechanic.
And he you would get service like that with an Uber now, would you? Bang! Support local businesses. He looks to you, and now I'm pretty pumped. So I expect that whatever's going to happen here is going to be pretty intense. But I don't think that I genuinely think with all of my free hearts that Wesley Sniper has well and truly run out of bullets.
I just can't believe they managed to get that in his contract that he can do that. It's watertight.
So he turns to look to you, and then he's plowed the taxi into this tree right outside this fancy gate into this owl sanctuary, and basically the whole thing looks like a giant bird cage, right? So there's chicken wire mesh in a big cube over this area, and the owls are just flying free. And he kind of looks and goes, no, I thought they were going to be in cages, which would make it much easier for me to nick. But I guess we're just going to have to get inventive with catching one of these owls so I can give them to Rosie to convince her that I didn't marry Aunt Mavis. And he goes to, he walks through the gates, and you notice that the floor, it's basically just a big bird cage. That's what I'm going to go with. It's a big bird cage. And he takes one step in with the lot of you following, and the gates close behind you for safety, obviously, owls on the loose. But you notice that the floor is covered with an almost too perfect layer of fallen leaves, which is odd because it's summer. And he takes a step on, you're all cast on these leaves, and he's just like, I wonder where the meet and greet is, he says. And then the four of you watch as a red dot appears on a nearby console. And there's a big red button that says, do not press or shoot. And sure enough, with a bullet soars in from Leon C and strikes this button that says, do not push or shoot. It depresses the button into the console. You see red lights, woo, start flashing. The gates, security gates slam down, locking you all in. And the floor underneath you begins lurching unexpectedly and uncontrollably. And you realize that Wesley Snipes has led you into a convoluted OK Go style machine with unknown and malicious purpose.
In an owl sanctuary. Yeah.
In an owl sanctuary. So just for reference, that's the video with OK Go, the bandmates all on the
why do they have
on the
this?
treadmills. Yeah, that's a cultural throwback I didn't expect to have in a Jason Statham game. So Jason's like, oh no, as he kind of gets wheeled along. I think of the five of you, private security, you're probably all right because actually you've had practice on the sushi belts.
Yeah.
But as the lot of you are just carried off in different directions on different conveyor belts, and in the center of this owl sanctuary, and you look up and all of the owls are on kind of little branches and sticks, then they're just watching. As in the center of this sanctuary, a hole in the ground opens and flames lick out. You see some buzzsaws, and you realize that all of these conveyor belts will inevitably, in a very unknown and malicious purpose, lead you to this pit of death. And Jason Statham kind of looks a little proud as he's slid along on these conveyor belts, on these treadmills, going, yeah, Wesley Snipes got us good this time, he says, as he... as this happens, he turns to you but this isn't a problem. This is just a puzzle that needs solving, he says. So all of you need to navigate all of these treadmills while also helping me to get one of them owls to prove the sanctity of my marriage.
That's why they call it a sanctuary. Yes.
So who's
Why did that one get me?
private security? As previously mentioned, Duncan, you're the most at home, like surfing on these treadmills. So what are you doing in this scenario?
I don't know. I guess he's still got his nunchucks. I think he's sort of trying to look around to see if there's anywhere that he can like stop the conveyor belts from moving.
Sure. Okay, so you do see. So I'm gonna go out and say when the do not press or shoot button was shot, and I said the gates came down. We're just gonna make this like proper Legend of Zelda puzzle dungeon like. Okay, so you can see that there's all sorts of like cogs and turning mechanisms on the walls, and you're just like, oh, trying to track them down. You do spot one set of cogs that you believe is very crucial to some of the mechanisms here. Whilst it might not necessarily, by your reckoning, whilst it might not necessarily stop the mechanisms, you may well slow it down and buy yourself all some time. Because, I mean, health and safety, moving from one treadmill to another would just be dangerous, you know? But there is a finite time before you're all dropped into the pit of death. So, yeah, what are you doing with these gears? How are you interacting with them?
So all the owls are sort of like above us. There's no way.
They're watching you like harbingers of doom. Yes.
Is there any owls close to these gears?
Some of them, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. A really ratty looking owl.
Yeah. Is there any way that I can sort of swack one of the nunchucks up in the air to see if I can get an owl lodged in these gears? Because I'm gonna want my nunchuck back. I don't want it up there.
Yeah.
I mean, he only needs one owl. The rest are expendable.
Right. You've got at least 30 attempts up there.
And you said it's one of the raggedy ones. He's not going to
get one of the expendables.
It's one of the owls that it's just recently.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, it's like, you know how owls just look real dumb after they've had a bath? Yeah. But it's dry. I mean, it's terrible. So yeah, that sounds like these weapons are also weapons. So D6 and D12. So you need an 8 or less, but bear in mind you have adrenaline, so add 1 to your D12.
Okay. Oh, that's a 10.
Okay, so you go to swat at this owl with your nunchucks, and sure enough, like the owl just kind of watches you as you approach, and as you whack, like hit it with this nunchuck. Because that's the problem with nunchucks. You don't really know where the blow's going to come from, do you?
Yeah.
You know, so it's all wiggly. So the owl's just like, looks in that direction, thinking that's where the attack's coming from, and then gets hit on the back of the head. The owl flies over towards the wall, hits the gears, and then there's like the camera pans away as there's like James Bond goon death. You just see like blood splat and feathers. And you're just like, haha, look at me. And then everyone else looks at you horrified.
What?
Duncan.
And what?
Why did you just throw the nunchucks in?
I want my nunchuck back.
You've got
Get the owl in the cog. I need both of them. That's how nunchucks work.
Someone in chat has quite rightly pointed out that this owl sounds a lot like a pigeon. Now, for those of you with a slightly more well-versed knowledge of nature, this is an Essex owl sanctuary. So, with that in mind, as this owl gets turned into jam in the gears. You kind of puff your chest out, really pleased with yourself, Duncan, and then you feel the floor underneath lurch a bit faster, and you kind of go, "Oh, those were the gears I needed to jam an owl into." Oh no,
Owl into.
an owl into. So I'm gonna progress your. So Jason Statham is now 3 squares closer to death.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
And so what does what's Karen doing? Lane, what's Karen doing in this moment?
I think she's trying to go with it.
Okay.
She's just trying to go with the entire thing, and she's realized that maybe she can appeal to Jason's acting by
Mhm.
by putting herself as the damsel in distress,
Yeah.
the hot car babe to save from the fire machine.
Yeah. Okay. So are you hoping that he's gonna start like running back along his treadmill towards you to?
Mr. Statham, this is just like in Crank. We need your help.
He looks to you and you're right. It is. And if I can get you to roll me a failed actor.
Yep.
Roll, please. So it's D6 D12. You need a 6 or less. Bear in mind you had +1.
No.
Oh,
My narcotics, because I didn't.
Oh, you
get
did?
+1.
Even better. Okay, so you roll a 5, which is absolutely perfect. Like Jason looks at you and yeah, you're right. And then from inside his suit pocket, he produces what appears to be a car battery. And then you watch as Daddy needs some juice, and he like attached to the battery are 2 like jump starter cables, and he just like jams them onto his nips, and he shakes for a while, like, and his head starts steaming a little as the suit catches fire and begins to burn away. And this is you can't have a Jason Statham's Big Vacation without Jason getting naked at least once. So as he discards this used up car battery, he throws it, and there's a big whoosh of flame as it falls into the pit of death. And he, don't worry, babe, I got you. And he starts running against the treadmills, and like he's really hammering it. But because of the treadmill, he's not actually going that fast. Like, he's not actually moving all that. But you have kind of slowed down his journey into the flaming pit of death. So yes, congratulations there. He's desperately kind of going for you. And it's clear that the electricity to the brain has kind of confused him slightly, because he looks at you and, don't worry, babe. Don't worry, Rosie. I'm going to get you an owl, he says. So he's looking from you, and he's looking up at the owls. And whilst this is happening, Bingley, you've just kind of just watched all of this transpire. You kind of go around your loop towards
Pretty much. Oh, he's not the most physical kind of guy, Bingley. Tried to get into the rowing team, didn't get anywhere with it. It's been a nightmare. Okay, can I see any wires, buttons, or similar, anything that looks like I could have prevent this treadmill from going? Sure.
As you kind of very quickly look around, that very much sounds like an eye for detail. So if I can have a D6 and D12, so presumably you're looking for something to kind of aid Duncan in turning off this.
Yes, yeah,
this
something that is a bit more
machine.
just like something I can just like disconnect or press rather than explode.
Sure.
Ideally.
Yeah, so D6, D12, it's 6 or less, but you add +1 to your D12.
Yeah, so I've got a 5 and a 1.
A 1, okay.
Yeah.
So we add +1 to that. So you turn, you're looking around, and perhaps spurred on by these gears that have just, they're just covered in feathers for some reason. But you just kind of, oh yeah, and you point, and there's a big lever on the other side of the sanctuary that says off, like on off. And you kind
Duncan,
of
the lever.
you can, oh maybe it's that one. You say, but you also kind of get the feeling that Jason's not going to be able to get one of these owls unless he's in mortal peril, right? Because it's Jason, right? So with that in mind, Jenny.
Okay, so first off, Jenny's still got the cocaine shakes, and she's like, "Oh, many owls have asymmetrical ears. They're always listening." And then she kind of slaps herself and goes, "Oh, no, focus."
I'm just going to jump in. Actually, no. Whilst you're saying this, you've also turned up and noticed that the walls of this owl sanctuary puzzle dungeon, the walls are now starting to close in on you. That's
Okay.
just no pressure, no biggie. But
That's
Wesley Snipes
okay.
is nothing if not, overt.
At this point, Jenny is so up there that nothing could stop her right now. Because Jenny, she used to be a rugby player in her youth, but then she took an injury to the knee, so she's no longer a rugby player. But she does something else, and she looks at her binder, and she throws it over her shoulder. Binder's gone. She doesn't give a shit about the binder, and instead she reaches into her backpack, and she brings out an extendable lacrosse stick. On it, emblazoned, is Southeast Ladies Lacrosse Team on it, and she's just gonna jump from her conveyor belt just towards one of the owls, totally not pigeons. Lacrosse stick extended fully, and she's gonna try and net an owl on the way down. If she's gonna do one thing right this vacation, it is to get Jason his owl.
Okay. In which case, that sounds very much like extreme sports. So please roll me a d60 12. You need a 5 or less, but you're adding 2
I will.
to the roll.
Oh boy. Bear with me a second, because I may have accidentally closed the
Oh no!
thingy. Where's it
Adrenaline.
gone?
We can roll it for you.
Oh my gosh, can you roll it for me, please?
Meg, tour guide, there you are. Okay, hang on. One moment, please. Here we go. Are we all ready?
Countdown team.
Need a 3 or less. No, we know you.
That's very far
Oh,
away.
no!
So, you are hyped. You have seen every Jason Statham movie, and every minute of premiere filmmaking and acting talent has brought you to this moment. You know Jason more than his own mother, Helen Mirren. As you look at him frantically running towards Karen, yelling out, "I'll save you, Rosie," he says. You know that this is your moment. And as you whoosh, extend your lacrosse stick, your Southeast Ladies Lacrosse Team stick, and you use the momentum of your treadmill to bound towards the owl. You take a leap. Well, you crouch to get as much power in your legs as you can, and you stack it into the flaming pit of death. You acquire your third point of adrenaline, which means you die.
Oh, no.
Emblazoned on my 2 will be, "Call me Jenny, worst tour guide ever."
Oh,
Behind Jason, there's just a gout of flames from the pit of death as you trip into it.
Can I see any staff of this owl centre about?
There are no staff. There are only pigeons.
Oh no. Okay.
Right. Okay. So, we'll switch back to we'll switch back to private security. You are in the 11th hour. This is do or die, apart from Jason Statham, because he's contracted to be in the next Fast and Furious film. What are you doing?
So I'm guessing the lever is up at the moment. And
The lever is up. If the lot of you, well, so between you, so Jason Statham won't be able to acquire his owl unless he's in mortal peril, which currently he is in. But you'll be able to pull the lever to kind of turn everything off. That much you found out from Bingley, the lawyer. Jason is slowly advancing towards Karen, yelling, "I'll save you, Rosie." But it seems like he's going to vault off of Karen to get the height required to grab one of the owls.
Right.
So you feel that, like, potentially at that point, you can. You feel that at that point you'll be able to turn the thing off. But is there anything you want to do in the meantime to help with what's happening?
I'm thinking of something, and I don't know if it will work. I basically want to see if I can grab Mr. Statham, and I want to launch him towards the lever, so then he can bounce off the lever, bounce off that, and then grab an owl in the process.
Okay, that sounds good. In which case, you quite sensibly jump onto the sides of the treadmills, the bits that don't go. You know, the bit that the treadmills goes round on. So you just kind of like jump to the side, and you're like, oh, okay, and you manage to balance beam your way across towards Jason, who's just like he's sweating, he's panting, but he's going about a mile an hour because of the retroactive force from the treadmill he's running on. And as you grab, oh no, he's naked, isn't he? As you
doesn't matter to Duncan. He's dreamed of this.
I just hope he's not too slippery.
You grab Jason in what is effectively, so you know that you have trained and studied for this moment, and there is a secret human throwing technique that you've learned from the masters of the Himalayan mountains. And as you grab Jason round the waist, and he's, what are you doing? And you know that the force generated with a German suplex is enough that if you release the person you're grabbing at the right moment, they are launched like a catapult shot. And I'm going to count that as these hands are weapons.
Yay.
So you need an 8 on the D12, but add +1 to it. Oh!
Yeah!
Whoa!
Okay, so you grab Jason and you plant your feet either side of the treadmill that he's been running on for the past few minutes, and you like your back bends into a perfect U as you Jason's world like flips upside down, and at the apex of the turn you release, and Jason flies off towards the far wall. As that's happening, Karen or Bingley, you realize that the trajectory, he's going to hit the lever, but the trajectory means that the ricochet won't put any owls in his direct path. Sorry, owls. For him to grab on the bounce off. So, between the two of you, what do? You need to somehow figure out how to get one of these pigeons to happen to be in the arc that Jason's going to travel when he bounces off this off switch.
How much do I know about bird law?
I mean, you definitely, I would argue that you've definitely brushed up on like avian ownership laws, because like a lot of birds are like exotic animals and requires a lot of legislation and whatnot to make sure that you're keeping them correctly. So I'm just gonna say law. Let's go for it.
Ooh, law.
Ooh.
All right, so let me think. I can figure out how we can get away with getting one of these birds, but how are we actually going to get one of these birds? Any ideas, Karen?
I have some. I'm put my own little stash of cocaine and just hacking it at some of the birds to try and get them to fly away.
Okay. So between the two of you, you know that you take a glance at these owls, and you know that the great and majestic grey Essex owl, which obviously these all are, when plied with the right narcotics, can be summoned with a very particular bird call. They will become docile, and if upon hearing this call, immediately fly to land on your hand. But if you time it well enough, yeah. So if you time it, the bird will be on its way to you as Jason Statham intercepts it on his ricochet.
50 a kilo.
So if the two of you are happy with that, as you
Yep.
think back to your avian lore, first things first, Agent, can I have a narcotics check, please?
Yep.
So you need a 6 or less on the
Oh no.
Okay.
10.
You okay. You all lurch, and I'm going to add 2 more squares to the Jason is dead, the Jason dead tracker. But you kind of slip at the last moment. You have thrown the right narcotics. So at this moment, you realize, like Bingley, as this bag of narcotics like scatters across this owl, this great Essex grey owl. You need to whisper a different song, one that would not only summon it to your hand, but give the owl the strength to carry whoever may be hanging off its legs, because you realize the trajectory is going to deposit Jason right into the flaming pit of death.
Ooh.
So,
All
if I
right.
could have a law roll.
My song
Yeah,
will be
+1 to the roll, so you need an 8 or less.
if any of you pigeons end up being responsible for dropping this man, oh, we'll see you in court.
If anyone wants to donate a £5,
There we go.
Oh,
boy.
drum roll.
No, Jason.
This looks like Dan might not be able to do his trilogy of Jason Statham's Big Vacation anymore.
Oh God, I wish I knew anything about bird law.
At least him and Jenny will be together in heaven.
there's this moment where you look up as the bird soars towards you and you go, wait a minute, that's a pigeon, not an owl. And as this pigeon is smacked by a flying Jason Statham, who's ricocheted off the off switch, and like you all well, the 3 remaining of you kind of come to a halt, and then you all watch as Jason, oh no, disappears into the flaming pit of death. You see a gout of flame go up. And as the 3 of you kind of stop, and like you've hit the off switch, so like the closing walls stop closing, they kind of retract, they lift up, and the front gates open, allowing you out of the Westcliff-on-Sea Owl Sanctuary. And the 3 of you kind of look to one another and think, oh no, we've just killed Jason Statham.
I have Wesley Snipes' number. I think we should go and work for him.
And oh no, you killed the tour guide too.
But technically, she killed herself.
Yeah. And was she really much of a tour guide?
As the 3 of you look to each other, wondering what to do next, there is the sound of a car engine as this red Ferrari like skids round to the front entrance of the of the sanctuary. The windows are tinted. No, the £5 donation is too late.
No.
The Ferrari stops and like with a hiss, the door kind of comes out and then swings up slowly, and a stilettoed foot steps out, and you all watch as Helen Mirren emerges from the driver's seat of this Ferrari, and she looks to you and, I'm Helen Mirren. What have you done with my baby boy? Smash cut to be continued. Congratulations, everyone, on completing Jason Statham's Big Vacation 2.
I don't know if we deserve that. Congratulations.
But yes, thank you all for playing. Thank you all for watching. And thank you for your donations. That really, really means a lot. Like the charity that we're working for, End Youth Homelessness and 1625 people, is like they're doing real important stuff. So all of the money that you've raised, which is all of it's going to the charities, we really, really, really appreciate it. But yeah, I think that brings us to a wrap. So once again, thank you, Tim. Thank you, Meg.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lane.
Thank you.
Nate, did you want to do a quick shout out for anything that you're working on at the moment?
Yeah, so like obviously you saw Chris earlier on. We are also Rough Sketch Podcast. You can find us on social medias just at Rough Sketch Podcast. We also run Pride Caf, which is Pride Comic Art Festival. We celebrate LGBTQI creative comic creators. So yeah, which will be happening in September
Amazing.
23rd, which we announced only a couple of weeks ago. So yeah.
Amazing. Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. And in which case, I'm just going to leave you on one final stinger scene. The heat is unbearable as Jason slowly pushes himself up from the volcanic floor, and he looks around. Chains, demons, fire. Yes, this is in fact the 7th layer of hell. And he looks up, and sat on a throne of skulls is a figure he knows all too well. And Jason, oh no, it's you, Ross Kemp. See you next year. Bye all.
Bye everyone. Cheers,